Hey guys, Reversible Apple Films here. Today I'm going to be doing a video on my top 5 favorite knives of 2015. So I've seen other people do their videos on their favorite knives of 2014, like Gideon's Tactical and the Late Boy Scout, and I found those videos really entertaining. So I thought I'd make a video like this for 2015 on my favorite knives. So here are the two honorable mentions. These are both great knives, but they were kicked out of the categories by some of the other knives just because I thought you were getting more quality or something better for what you're paying. So this is the SE Zancudo. I've recommended this knife a lot on my channel. It's a great knife for the money, and that's pretty much what I'd say it excels at. It's like just a great EDC knife, everything you need for a cheap price, and it's nice quality, nice steel. AUS 8, it's really easy to sharpen, and it gets really sharp. It's easy to flick out, even with my left hand. And the frame lock is really strong. It's just a good knife for $30. Now we have the Spyderco Sage. I haven't talked about this. I haven't done a review on this, but it's a great knife. I love the designs. I love the aesthetics, but it kind of came down to two high quality knives I had, and would I sell this one over the other one? And I'd have to say I'd pick the other one. I'm not going to give it away yet, but you might know what it is just from watching my other reviews. So it's a great knife, but I would have to choose another high-end knife over this one. Alright, number 5 is going to be the Buck 110 Folding Hunter. So I did a pretty short review compared to my other reviews on this knife. Didn't really have much to say, but what I really failed to mention is that I actually do use this knife a lot. This is one of my main users. Just a great hunting knife. That's pretty much what it's for. That's what it's designed for, and that's what it excels at. It's made of 420HC steel, which is considered Buck's like their main steel. They use it on a lot of their knives. They know how to do the heat treat right. I've seen some Gerber knives that are kind of crappy made with the same steel, and I can tell you I've never had a problem with it shipping or anything. Then again, I've never hard used it. I've pretty much just used it to cut meat. So, I do a lot of hunting, actually, and this is kind of like my primary skinning knife. It's also good for getting back straps out of deer, or just cutting steak or pork or anything like that. So, I've got a lot of use on it. I don't know if you can actually see, but there's some scratches on the blade. Might not show up on camera just because it looks nice outside, but inside you can see some of the scratches. Let me try to get that on camera. I don't know, but sharpened it a lot. The tip isn't as pointy as it used to be. Yeah, this is just a timeless design, and they still make them really nicely, high quality. Just a Buck 110. I think everyone should have one in their collection. It's a really classic knife. And, it's one of the first knives with a lock on it, so I don't know, it feels really good in my hand, which don't really need it for that. Usually you're going to be using it for kind of delicate tasks, so you're never going to have like a really strong grip on it. At least I haven't had to. But yeah, the Buck 110, great folding knife. And it's around the $30 mark. Alright, so number 4 is going to be my Spyderco Delica. I have a lot of carry time and experience with the Delicas. This was actually my first Spyderco knife. And I've been hooked ever since. But then again, this is actually not my specific first Spyderco knife. My first Spyderco knife was a full flat ground gray Spyderco Delica. I liked it. It was really light, and I liked the steel, but I didn't like how thin the blade was. And I know that's a reason why a lot of people do like it. So if you like a bunch of, if you're going to be using your knife for fine slicing tasks like food prep or something, you might want to look into the full flat ground version, or maybe even the Endura because it's got a longer blade. But the saber ground version is the one that I liked. You can see the blade thickness on this. It's really thick. I'll put the specs in the description for all these knives, but I don't know specifically what it is. But it is a really thick blade, really durable. You're going to be able to hard use this knife and have it stand up to the abuse. What I love about it is it's so light. It's easy to deploy. It's really smooth for a lockback. I usually don't like blockbacks, but you can middle finger flick it. So, it's really smooth. It comes out fast. The pocket clip, it slides in and out of your pocket really nicely. And the only thing I really don't like about this knife is the paint on the pocket clip tends to wear off really easy. It's already wearing off around the edges. And I've only had this particular model, I don't exactly know how long I've had it now, but I haven't had it for more than half a year. So, yeah, it's a great Spyderco knife. Like I said, what I like about it is easy deployment. I like the size. It's kind of small. It's kind of like my working knife. You know, this is the knife I kind of would like take to work. And I really like the VG10 steel. Holds up really well, and it's pretty easy to sharpen for how well it holds up. It's pretty hard steel. It's kind of like the perfect medium between a harder steel and a softer steel, like AUS 8 and S30V. It's kind of like in the middle of those two. So it's kind of just the perfect balanced steel. And I like the aesthetics. I like the how the blade just drops rather than the kind of leaf-shaped blade of the Spyderco Sage. Really, like I said, the only thing I don't like about this, well, there's a couple of things I don't like about it, just to be fair. I don't like the pocket clip. I wish it was open frame construction, but that wouldn't work just for being a lockback, because you can get some sand in there. And I think if they redesign the Delicas, they should put a finger choil right here. I think that would make the knife like a lot better. But yeah, the Spyderco Delica, I've used it a lot. I've got some scratches right here. A pretty big scratch on the blade. I don't know if you can see, just from where I cut through a bone, and it was still shaving sharp right after that. That's not dents in the edge, by the way. I think that's just some lint. So yeah, I really like the Spyderco Delica. Really thick tip. I've used it a lot more than really any of my other knives besides my Buck 110. Alright, so number 3 is going to be the Kershaw Skyline. So as soon as I pulled this knife out of the box, I knew it was going to be one of my favorite knives. And this kind of kicked off the SE Zen Kudo, I guess, from getting the 3rd spot. I probably would have put this here for the best knife for your money. But you're getting a lot more. You're gonna be paying about $15 more. This is about a $45 knife. But I don't think of it as you're getting, you know, you're paying $15 more than the SE Zen Kudo. You're paying about $15 less than the Spyderco Delica. Like I said, it's also a great knife, but you're getting a lot of stuff for the money on this Skyline. You're getting a really nice G10 handle. It's really grippy. It's not as grippy as a Paramilitary 2's handle, but it's just right under that. I mean, I don't have a Mannix 2, but I have to imagine it'd probably be comparable to that. But I don't really know. But it is really high quality. It's a lot better than the Spyderco Tenacious or the Kershaw Chill. So yeah, you're getting G10 handles. You're getting made in USA. You can see that. You're getting a really nice Sandvik steel. It's like VG10 in the sense that it's easy to sharpen, yet it holds its edge a long time. It's a great balance between hard and soft steels. This is the updated version. So you're getting a stonewashed blade, which I really like. The spear point blade is really nice. You get a blackened pocket clip now rather than the bead blasted kind of silver pocket clip. I really like that. I like the black pocket clip on my Delica, but the paint wears off. Haven't had any problems with this yet. It has a different type of finish, but I don't know what it's called. Almost like a black wash finish because it's got that like vintage look to it. I don't know. But yeah, I really like the pocket clip. I just wish it rode a little bit deeper in your pocket. Really smooth action, and you're getting a liner lock. And I like liner locks, and it's really strong. If you can see in my video, I spine whacked it and it didn't close. So, you know, really nice liner lock, and one-handed closing. Basically just everything you need in a pocket knife. If you're new to knives, and you kind of want just one knife to maybe get into the hobby, or just one knife in general, I'd say this is a good knife to get. It's only about $45, and like I said, you're getting all those pluses of the high-quality materials. I would say this is probably Kershaw's best knife, and I mentioned that in my review. Alright, so number 2 is the only fixed blade on the list, the Becker BK15, designed by Ethan Becker. Sometimes it's called the Becker BK15. So like I said, this is the only fixed blade on the list, and that's because, in my opinion, this is the only fixed blade I need. This is hands down my favorite fixed blade. I started out as more of a fixed blade person, You know, I liked the Buck 119 because of its place in like horror history, because I was like a horror movie fan, so I got that. That kind of got me into buying high-end knives, and that wasn't really a high-end knife. That was like a $40 knife. But, well, that being said, you can actually pick this one up. This is one of the least popular Becker knives. The most popular one is probably the BK2 or the BK9. That'll run you from anywhere from like $60 to $90 to $100. But this one isn't talked about that much, but I think this is the best one. It's definitely for me. Great all-around fixed blade. So Ethan Becker talked about it being a great hunting knife. I think it's a little bit too big to be a hunting knife. But you know, if you choked up on it, you could probably use this area for skinning, but it's not very good at getting back straps out of deer or anything like that. You're not going to really be able to get into a small game, so that's pretty much its only drawback. Other than that, I think this is a great, just general purpose outdoors knife. It's strong enough to be, you can baton with it. I think I could easily baton through this piece of wood right here. It's full tang, so it's going to be, honestly, I'd say a better alternative to the K-Bar USMC fighting knife, so it could make a great soldier's knife or a combat knife. You know, it's got the blade length, it's got like a 5.5 inch blade, I think. It might just be a 5-inch blade, but it's definitely long enough to, you know, use it to defend your life. It's made of Crovan steel, 1095 Crovan, which is really strong, pretty easy to sharpen. It does rust easily, though. You could use it as a bushcraft knife because of that flat ground blade, so it does slice really nicely. So you could use it in the in the kitchen for food prep because of that. So it does slice really well. It could just be like a really overbuilt tactical butcher knife. So cutting meat is something you could do with this knife. That's probably what I use it for the most, is probably the kitchen or something like that, or like cutting through steak or anything like that, like pork or ham. But this is kind of just like the knife that I would take into the woods, just kind of like light duty chopping branches. It's something in your way, it could do that. Yeah, like anything bigger you'd need, you could just take a machete or an axe. But anything smaller, I'd think your EDC knife or your Buck 110 could do. So I think this is a perfect medium for EDC knives, for fixed blades. So really everything you need, and I will do a review on this soon, but I've talked about it a lot in this section. So yeah, the K-Bar BK15. Alright, and number 1 is none other than the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. I better talk fast because it's getting kind of dark out here. Kind of hate this new time. So the Spyderco Paramilitary 2, if I had to get rid of all my other folders and just keep one, I would definitely keep this one. I don't know if I would say if I had to get rid of all my other knives, because I'd still like to have my BK15. But if I had to have one folder and one fixed blade, it would be the BK15 and the Paramilitary 2. I just made a review on this knife, so you know, what more is there to say than what's already been said? Just a great Spyderco knife, probably their best knife. You're getting G10 handles, really grippy G10 handles. Let's compare that to the Kershaw Skyline. Other than that, you've got a lanyard hole in the back. Exceptional ergonomics, really great. It fits my hand really nicely. When you have a good grip on this knife, it's just locked in your hand. It doesn't feel like it's going to slip. Plus the G10 is really grippy. Great overall EDC knife, that's what I'd say it's for, but you could use it for tactical purposes just because the G10 is really grippy, and you're getting a really strong and really fast lock. The deployment is really fast and smooth. You open it pretty much any way you want. Flick it with your thumb, with your middle finger. Just hold the compression lock down and you can, well, I can't really do it with my left hand. But yeah, you can just hold the compression lock down and flick it out. So you're getting a really fun lock, the compression lock, and really strong too. You should watch this guy's review. His name's Solo's Knife Reviews. He did like a in-depth video talking about the lock, and it just shows you how strong the Paramilitary 2's lock is. Forward finger choil, really nice jimping, and S30V steel, which is really hard steel. It's supposedly really hard to sharpen, but what I do is just Every time I use it, I just give it like one swipe through a Spyderco Sharp Maker, and it pretty much stays sharp. Like I said, I just did a review on this knife, so if you wanted to see that, go check it out. So that is my favorite folding knife as of right now, the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. So there are my 5 favorite knives of 2015. Let me know in the comments what's your favorite fixed blade, or what's your favorite folder, or maybe what's your top 5 favorite knives of 2015. And I didn't say, but you know, it should be pretty obvious. These obviously are knives that I've gotten or that I've used the most in 2015. They weren't actually made in 2015. But yeah, so we got the Buck 110, $30, the Delica, $60 to $65, Skyline by Kershaw. Yeah, this is a Spyderco Delica, obviously. Kershaw Skyline, which is about $45. K-Bar BK15. I don't really know. The price changes a lot. Could be like $45 to $60. Just because they're not really bought that often, it's a really cheap knife. But I think it's really just a great knife for the money. And even if it was like $90, I'd still recommend it. I'd say I'd pay $90 for that knife. And then we got the like $120 Spyderco Paramilitary 2, which is kind of like the best high-end folder that I own. And yeah, so that's my review, or my video on the top 5, or my top 5 favorite knives of 2015. So thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed it.